It's the morning of day number 4, Wednesday, and I managed to keep my fire going through the night. So that means I don't have to struggle with that stupid, utilize that really useful ferro rod. Yeah, and not only that, it snowed about an inch last night. So it was coming down for quite a while. I guess it's not terribly heavy. So everything is covered in snow anew. Of course, a lot of this snow here was already here, but the trees didn't have any snow on them. And they're all freshly covered. It's a really beautiful setting. It's also foggy. You can't really tell terribly well, but there's some fog back, kind of hiding the trees in the distance there. I'm going to take you down to the water here. So here we have the lake, and you can see some of that fogginess up there hiding the mountains just beyond the trees there. Some of the fog has already gone away a little bit. It was a little bit foggier than this. It's a really beautiful setting, but I have to say that I think I may be facing a kind of a big decision. Originally, with my plans to do this, I had it planned to hike out, and that would be day 1. Then I would have 2 full days out here, days 2 and 3, and then I would hike out on the 4th day. And the hike out day would have been Thursday still, but I kind of modified the earlier part of the trip, so I wound up hiking out a day earlier. So in that sense, I've already fulfilled, the original survival challenge plan of coming up here. The snow has me kind of nervous. Like last night it snowed a half or maybe 3/4 of an inch, but the day broke much clearer than this, and all that, the sun came out, and the snow, all that snow melted away pretty quickly. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what the weather holds for today and tomorrow. I'll be honest with you, if it's going to snow more, and if it's going to stick around and not just all melt off pretty quickly, I think I want to hike out of here today. If that were to happen, I don't want it to dump like a foot of snow or something up here on me tonight, and that would really make it a lot more difficult for me to get out of here. Absolute worst case scenario, I could basically grab some warm clothes, leave everything else up here, and hike back down to the truck. Absolute worst case scenario, and I'm sure I could do that without problem, but I don't really want to leave all my stuff here. So I honestly don't know what the weather holds from a weather forecast standpoint. I kind of checked the weather in Aspen before I came out, and I remember there was like one day, and I don't remember which day it was, but there was about a 40% chance of precipitation throughout that day. And I don't know if that was Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday when it was, but it's not knowing, and the possibility. It could definitely snow, about close to a foot up here without any trouble. I think it actually did that within the last week and a half before I came out. So I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is wait a little bit longer. I mean, I haven't even seen the sun for obvious reasons. I think I'll wait and kind of see if this doesn't clear out of here. And if it looks like the sun's going to come out and everything, I'll quite possibly, I think I'll, if the weather looks good, like it improves, I think I may spend another day out here and then hike out on Thursday as planned. Or if it still looks really iffy and threatening even, I'm probably going to pack up my stuff and hike out. And I will have fulfilled the original plan anyway, so I don't have to feel bad about that. Although I was going to enjoy having an extra day. But anyway, that's just what I have going on this morning. If I do stay, I'll have plenty to eat. I have two trout to eat and 2 pemmican bars, so I won't be hurting in that department. This kind of reminds me of the opening lines to Jack London's short story, To Build a Fire. The day had broken cold and gray, exceedingly cold and gray. Except it's not really that cold. Thermometer says it's actually just a little above 0 Celsius, so yeah, it's really not cold at all. Just kind of looks like it is. Definitely gray though. Gray and snowing, that's what has me concerned. Okay, correction, I just went back and checked the thermometer again after I moved it to a probably a little bit more accurate spot, not as close to my shelter, and it now says that it's about -1 Celsius, so it is at least below freezing, but it's still not cold. Chilly definitely, but not cold. Come on, son, are you going to come out today? I sure hope you do. Because if not, I might be making a hike today. This almost looks to me like it could just start dumping again. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not really feeling good about this. It's like this neat boulder sticking up here. It's this sharp looking piece of rock almost just erupting from the ground. Nice pointed top there. Just kind of an interesting little feature over here. Wonder how that got here. Did it fall down from somewhere up above? Just land there? The glacier push it there? I just got to wonder about some of these boulders, how they got there. I mean, most of the time it's an obvious case of just breaking off somewhere above, but sometimes you kind of wonder. Well, it is with a heavy heart, but a heart that also feels accomplished, that I have pretty much decided to hike out today. I've met the goal I had planned for months and months. I have met that goal. There's no doubt about that. The idea of doing an extra day, which was something that only got, the possibility of that only happened less than a week before I even drove out. But that idea, I think I would feel safer hiking out today. I know what animal I'm contending with the weather as of right now. I don't know what might be coming. We're further on into the morning now, and the sky has not, I mean, I'll see a little bit of blue, not blue sky, but a little bit of kind of a hole in some of this overcast where you can just see a little bit of blue through it, kind of. I'm not talking blue sky. It's like a hole. It's like a hope that it might break and open up, and it hasn't broken up at all. I don't know what's coming later on today or tonight. I don't know if maybe it could snow a foot up here. I don't know. I don't want to be up here facing the hike out if it snows a foot up here. It's going to make it more difficult. I'm already going to be carrying a heavy pack. So anyway, I do feel, I absolutely feel that I have accomplished what I came out here to accomplish. I have done it. I've come out to a harsh environment with some rather harsh weather, and I've survived for this will be my fourth day now. I've survived with limited gear. I only had the 10 items plus my clothing, very limited food. I mean, as of right now, this is the morning of day number 4, and to date I've eaten 2 fish and 2 pemmican bars. No, I take that back. I've eaten 2 fish and 1 pemmican bar. So I still have not eaten very much. But I've done it. I've survived it. I'm confident that pretty much no matter what the weather would do, I could survive here in my camp. But it's not just about that. I have to get myself out. And that getting myself out has hung over kind of like a dark, mysterious, ominous cloud over kind of the back of this thing the whole time. I've always hoped that the hike out wouldn't be a problem. And the weather, I don't trust the weather. I honestly have no idea what the weather might bring. In 3 hours from now, maybe it might be bluebird, crystal clear blue skies. I don't know. Or maybe it'll be snowing. So yeah, I feel like I've accomplished what I came out here to accomplish. I'm very confident in that. I have accomplished the kind of the timetable of the amount of time out here that I originally set out for myself. I have accomplished that. I know my wife's worried about me. I don't want her to worry about me. If I could get out of here a day earlier and relieve her of that worry, that would make me feel good, to ease that burden off of her mind, because she hasn't talked to me. I talked to her on the phone Saturday evening, and it's now Wednesday morning. She hasn't heard anything from me whatsoever in that whole time. That night she was really worried about me, and I told her, it's like, I don't want you to worry about me. I know what I'm doing. That quote, I know what I'm doing. I felt a little silly saying it, but I don't know. I know what I mean by it in part, and I also know kind of what I don't mean by it. I do have a certain skill set, obviously, but it's never been quite tested like this. So I didn't know, how that was going to pan out necessarily. I was confident that I should probably be just fine, and I always knew that I could hike out, if things went bad. But there were things that made me apprehensive, like the fact that I had never successfully started a fire with a ferro rod out here in the mountains of Colorado. I'd tried on about 2 other occasions, and the first time I finally used I haven't been able to light a fire with a ferro rod out in the mountains of Colorado using purely natural materials. The first time I eventually used a little piece of jute fiber that my wife found laying around the campsite, and that works like a charm. And then earlier this summer, I tried doing it again, using just natural materials I found, and I totally failed at that. I even tried using my flint and steel set, failed at that, and finally I had to use matches, and I probably used at least 4 matches to get that campfire going. It had rained that afternoon, so things were wet, and a lot of the tinder options around there were pretty picked through. But anyway, coming out here to this environment, I had never successfully lit a fire with a ferro rod using purely natural materials. So that was a big if. I was pretty sure I could eventually pull it off. And I did. I struggled with it both times. I eventually got fires lit. I had to do it twice. I did it the first afternoon I was out here, and I had to do it yesterday morning because the fire went out in the weather. But, talking about the Alone TV show, I've heard many times on that where somebody will say, like, I've accomplished what I came out here to accomplish. And when you're sitting at home watching the show, you always kind of feel like, well, oh man, don't tap out, keep going. I mean, yeah, that's nice that you've come to accomplish what you've accomplished, but don't you want to win the thing? Don't you want to stay longer? But having done this, I understand that feeling of having accomplished what you came out to accomplish, because I feel that now. I had communicated some with some contestants, former contestants on Alone, to a small degree, and kind of in particular, I probably did more of that with Dave Whipple than any of the others, and Dave has a YouTube channel, Bush Radical, if you want to go check out his stuff. He makes some great videos. But a few months back, he did a video about like what it's like being on Alone, and he actually kind of threw the challenge out there, like say, and then said, hey, go out by yourself, maybe go out for a week or go out for a shorter amount of time, just by yourself, out alone, and it'll change your life. And after I watched that video, eventually I sent Dave an email, and I actually told him about what I was planning on doing here. And I said something like, well, I'll only be out so many days. I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 days or whatever. And he said, you know what, that's more than enough time. You know, that time out there will, be enough to change your life. Let me know about, let me know how it goes once you get back. And I guess, I guess I kind of came out here almost looking for some sort of, I don't know if I want to say spiritual epiphany or something like that. Because I don't think that's the right term. I mean, I kind of wondered, how my relationship with God might deepen or something like that. And I don't know if that's just kind of stayed steady, even keel. I guess maybe I came out here looking for some sort of epiphany or revelation, I guess, of a personal nature. And the whole time I've been out here, I've kind of been looking for it. It's like, where's that, where's that at? Where's that thing that's just going to make me say, wow, that's what I came out here to gain in my life. And, oddly enough, just sitting here just now, it kind of came to me that, for one thing, I think part of what this experience will teach me and will mean to me, I don't think I'll even really start to realize that until I'm out of here. Until I'm back in my normal life, back with my wife, back at work, back living my normal life. I think that's when I'll probably start feeling more of what this taught me. And, but a few weeks before I came out, I reread the story about how Elijah went up into the cave on the mountain, and God was going to come talk to him. And, there was the great fire that went by. There was the earthquake. I'm missing something here. There's the great wind, the fire. Well, I can't remember. Elijah went up on the mountain, and he was in the cave, and God was going to come and talk to him. And there was the great fire that went by, and the earthquake, and all this stuff, and all this powerful stuff. And God, the all-powerful God, he wasn't in any of those things. It was when Elijah went out, and it was in just the quiet breeze, the quietest of all that natural phenomena. It was just the quiet breeze where God was, and where God spoke to him. And I really feel that that's how this experience has been for me. I came out here expecting this kind of big breakthrough epiphany that that would change my life. and I kept looking for it like it was just gonna hit me one day, like hit me upside the head, like, wow, that's amazing. And that never happened in and of itself. It's all been just kind of the quiet breeze of kind of everyday life out here, because that's what it becomes. You know, you're not just out here camping overnight or whatever, you're living here for a while. Even if it's not that long, you live out here, you become part of the environment. You know, you're living here just as much as the birds are. You're living here just as much as the bear, who you see its tracks in the snow. You know, you're part of it. You go into the heart of the wilderness, and it becomes part of you. And also at the same time, while you're out here, you become part of the wilderness. You know, you're part of the life that's out here. Because anywhere you go, there's life. Almost anywhere you go. There's some parts of the planet where probably about the only life you're going to find, like down in Antarctica, on the ice sheet, might be little microbes or something. But anywhere you go, there's life, and when you're there, you're part of it. And you know, obviously, humans can be a very destructive part of that. But nonetheless, we're part of it. But the wilderness definitely is an amazing place. It's definitely a great sanctuary to go to. It has a healing, I would say a healing power to it in a sense. It's something I've loved pretty much all my life. Been drawn to the outdoors all my life, as long as I can remember. And here I am at 39 years old, and I come out into the wilderness to experience it like this, alone, with minimal gear, just to see if I could come out here and survive. And I have. And that's why I feel okay with heading out today. Yeah, the clouds still haven't really improved, so I think I'm going to enjoy one last pot of spruce tip tea. I'm going to start eating some energy bars. I'm going to start packing up my stuff and taking down this camp, because I definitely have to make sure I, you know, disperse my take my stuff down and disperse my stuff, my wild materials that I've been using, because I don't want to make it look like somebody lived here for 4 days. But there you have it. I feel very accomplished. And I am kind of sad to go, but I think the prudent decision would be to go today, because I don't know what the weather has in store for me. There's a last little look at my campsite. My clothesline there. My bear canister seat. Got my cooking tripod. My handy dandy little pot supporter. Just dangles down from up there. And my shelter. I just have it strung over a couple of these poles. There's my bed. Just kept me warm and dry. So my meager gear there. Some wood I put underneath the shelter last night when it was snowing. Keep it dry. And yep, that's it. Gonna start packing it up here pretty quick. I'm telling you, no joke, the spruce tip tea really is pretty darn good. Especially when there's nothing else but just plain water, and most of that now is tasting kind of fishy because I've boiled fish in this pot. Nice, good, refreshing flavor. I'm not sure if this pot's as strong as the one yesterday, but it's still good. Well, that does it for me out here. I've broken camp, and it's time for me to finish putting the last few things in my pack and start heading out on the trail. Hopefully the hike out won't be as bad as I've been fearing the last several days, but it'll be good to start it and get it going and get out of here. So anyway, so long from my little Alone in the Elk Range Wilderness Survival Challenge. This is Gareth with Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I will see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed it.